Indiana came to Evanston to battle the Northwestern Wildcats, and 1 year ago, Indiana left Welsh-Ryan Arena a loser, 66-64. Tonight, the Hoosiers come back to Welsh-Ryan Arena in hopes to avenge that loss and retain their hold on the conference lead. Indiana versus the Wildcats coming up.
University basketball. Brought to you in part by your Central Indiana Chevy dealers. In Central Indiana, we drive Chevy. By Bank One, we're 18,000 people who care. By Counter, more performance, more consistency. Counter gives you more. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Indiana University basketball is also brought to you in part by Hook's Dependable Drugstores.
Live from Welsh-Ryan Arena on the campus of the University of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. This is Big Ten basketball, and tonight, Indiana with their 8-1 conference leading record against the Wildcats, who are 1-8. Hello, everyone. Chuck Marlowe with John Laskowski. John, we've seen you and I so many times. You come up here, just throw out the record book, because the intensity of this small arena means there's going to be a battle.
I think last year's game really picked Northwestern up. We heard a great roar from the crowd as the teams came out today. They remember Indiana losing on a Monday night game last year here.
What do we look for in tonight's game?
I think what you're going to see is Northwestern try to slow the game down. Iowa plays an up-tempo, and Northwestern saw that Indiana beat Iowa that way, so they want to really slow it down. Maybe a three-quarter court trap, slow things up, a zone offense. They want to run a half-court game instead of a full-court game.
Will they send their zone back in on top of our big men?
I think they will, to force some outside shots. And I think the movement inside with Anderson and Jadlow, who's ever inside, will be important, because you still have to get the ball inside against the zone.
Bill Foster would like nothing better than to start this second half of the season with a win. Indiana wants to keep this thing going, and the stage is set. We'll be back with the starting lineups of tonight's game in just a minute.
Son, getting those chores done, aren't you?
I'll get right to it, Dad.
In the driveways, the backyards, the playgrounds, and the barns, it's a part of growing up in Indiana, where the tradition of great basketball begins.
Time out, son. The Hoosiers are on.
And here is where great basketball continues. It's time now for Hoosier Basketball, brought to you by your local Chevy dealer. In Central Indiana, we drive Chevy.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, and for the team, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you.
The door to your future is right in your neighborhood. College credit from Bank One gets you where you want to go. Choose from a variety of student loans that can open doors for you. If you've got what it takes, go for it. Go for college credit at your neighborhood Bank One. It's the loan to learn.
Feeling good, getting tight, 'cause I'm living right, living right. Out of the darkness, into the light, I'm living right, living right.
First rule of working out is showing up.
Show up now and join for just $32 a month.
Join Scandinavian now.
Northwestern started off their non-conference season with 7 wins. They were really strong, Laz. They showed some good promise. Maybe the caliber of their competition wasn't that good, but that's in the non-conference play. That's when you want to really try to bring your team together. From that time on, and Bill Foster told us earlier, it was just one of these things. They'd be in the game for 31, 32 minutes or so and just couldn't get the job done.
They did get a lead in the second half against Indiana back in Bloomington a couple weeks ago, just by 1 point, but Indiana won easily at the end.
Indiana coming in with an 18-5 record, 8-1 overall, and now here are tonight's starting lineups.
For Indiana, forward is 6'9" freshman from Chicago, Illinois, number 32, Eric Anderson. For the Wildcats at forward, a 6'9" senior from Mercer Island, Washington, number 41, Brian Schwabe. At the other forward for Indiana, a 6'2" senior from Glendale, California, number 44, Joe Hillman. For the Wildcats at forward, a 6'6" senior from Woodstock, Virginia, number 34, Walker Lambiat. At center for Indiana, a 6'9" senior from Salina, Kansas, number 11, Todd Jadlow. For the Wildcats at center, a 6'8" freshman from Baldwin, Missouri, number 45, Evan Peterson. At guard for Indiana, a 6'4" sophomore from Marion, Indiana, number 3, Jay Edwards. For the Wildcats at guard, a 6'3" senior from Danville, Illinois, number 21, Phil Stiles. At the other guard for Indiana, a 6'1" sophomore from Marion, Indiana, number 4, Lyndon Jones. And for the Wildcats at guard, a 6'3" freshman from Jackson, Michigan, number 22, David Holmes.
Okay, here are your coaches and the starting lineup. Bob Knight in his 18th year, and what a marvelous record he has going for himself. It's just only going to be a matter of numbers of games before he really turns everything around in the Big Ten. And there is Bill Foster with his starting 5 as well. Foster 15-50 here at Northwestern. Your officials for tonight's game, it's Randy Drury on the left, Ted Valentine substituting for Ted Hillary, who injured his back, and Phil Robinson on the right. Well, how are they going to match up tonight, Larry?
Well, I think the big one for Indiana is going to be Hillman on Lambiat. We've seen Joe go against players bigger. They list Lambiat at 6'6", so Joe's given up 3 inches there. Jadlow should be able to do some damage on Peterson inside, although Northwestern will probably be in a zone, kind of a matchup zone. They seem to get lost the first time they met Indiana, so I think you'll see more of a matchup zone today where each player is responsible for a certain guy. We look at the series now. Indiana's got a comfortable lead. They've won 32 of the last 35, and there you see the score in Bloomington on January 14th. Chuck, it's an interesting night in the Big Ten tonight because of the 4 teams tied for second place, all with 5-3 records. They all play each other. Look at the stats here on the field goal shooting. Pretty well even. Ohio State plays at Illinois today, and Michigan plays at Iowa. There you see the free throw shooting. So 2 of the teams that are in second place are going to have 4 losses after tonight's game. Should Indiana be able to win today, that would still leave them with 1 loss. They'd have a 3-game lead in the loss column on 2 of those teams. So we'll try to get you those scores as they come available today.
Indiana controls the tip. It's Lyndon Jones. Lyndon came in to today suffering a little bit from a strep throat. He had a temperature of about 102 degrees. We understand that by 2 o'clock this afternoon, the temperature had broken, and he will start. Just how strong he's going to be, we'll have to wait and see. Hillman off the glass for the first 2.
Well, there's the zone, a 2-3 zone, and Jones did the right thing. He cut through the lane there right to where the Big Ten is, and not much of a pass, but Hillman got it.
Inside, the first foul is Jadlow caught really completely by surprise. Peterson had done a little slide, back cut slide, and Jadlow did not recognize it. First foul on Todd.
Long pass. You saw Jadlow slip, which prevented him from coming up with it, and Peterson's going to go to the line.
Peterson, the freshman, 6'9", from Baldwin, Missouri, averages only 4 points. and is about a 55% shooter from the line, and rolls this one around through and out.
I think this is a game check where the crowd can be very important. The student section for Northwestern is right behind the Indiana bench, and they've been here for an hour and a half. It was festival seating, so they all got here early to get good seats. The band is directly at the far end of the bench. You see the shots missed, and so that band could come in effect also.
The ball is last touched by Northwestern, so it's going to be Indiana's ball. There was a real battle for it over there, Hillman, and I think the fans over there in that student section might have thought that the ball bounced off Hillman, but the officials call it otherwise, and so Indiana gets a break after not being able to control their own defensive boards, and the ball was kicked.
This little half-court trap. We'll see a three-quarter trap. Again, this is just a ploy by Northwestern, not necessarily to steal the ball, but to slow the game down. They want Indiana in a slower-paced game, fewer change of possession.
Ball handling is going to be very important to Indiana. Here's Jones from outside. That's not going to fall. And the rebound is pulled down by Schwabe. He is their rebounding leader, 6.3 average per game. Down to the baseline. Shot is blocked and pulled away. And here comes Jay Edwards, and the foul on the shoulder will be called on number 21, Phil Stiles. Stiles riding Edwards up the sideline.
Well, we've seen this a lot where Jay tries to block the shot from behind, and he gets called a lot for a foul. Watch it now. Lambiat goes by, and Jay's behind him, and that's an easy way to block the shot because the player's out of your way. Jay does it that time and picks the foul up from Stiles driving down the floor.
They have played a minute and 15 seconds. It's Indiana by 2. Loose ball saved by Jones.
Not much room in that middle that time. That was not a good pass.
Indiana has worked against this all week. Last step in over to Edwards. Fans wanted to travel by Hillman. No call. Hillman will take it. 3. It's not going to go. Edwards gets it. He's fouled. Lambiat, and that's his first. And it was just a case this time of Edwards beating Walker Lambiat to the ball.
Indiana did a nice job against the zone on the 14th. Finding the gaps in that zone, and that's what Northwestern's been trying to work on. Edwards had good position on the long rebound. Lambiat fouls him. Lambiat's been their big offensive threat. He got 32 against Iowa last week, so he's the guy that can really score for them.
Hillman looking in to Jadlow, cutting across. Hillman's outside again. They do a good job. Oh, he tried to really thread that through an area. Pass really didn't have a chance to go. Schwabe over to Stiles, over Hillman, and he gets it. We're tied at 2.
A little faster pace on offense than what we thought Northwestern might use. Of course, then they go right to the trap.
Anderson sends it down to Edwards, kicks it back to Jones. Hillman down to Anderson, into Jadlow, and he's bumped inside. We have another foul.
Looks like Northwestern's really packing the zone inside, especially when the big guys get it. And they want to force Indiana on that outside shot. Let's watch the pass now by Hillman. Anderson's got it. Watch, 3 guys surround Jadlow as soon as he gets the ball. And that goes out of bounds to Indiana.
And that was against Lambiat. That's his second. Shot is blocked. Edwards doing the right thing, trying to penetrate the top of that 2-3, but it's a very tight 2-3 right now. Inside, tipped away. Good defense again by Northwestern as Indiana tries to thread the needle. Save and a steal by Hillman. Here come the Hoosiers on the conversion. Edwards wheels, drops it off. Jadlow fights, scores.
Todd did a better job of concentration that time. That pass nearly got away from him. We've seen that happen quite a bit in the last ball game, but he stayed right after it and then went up strong with it.
22 is Holmes. Been getting some starts. He averages only 2.8 points per game. They're using him at the point. Stiles. Peterson, the freshman.
There's Lambiat. You see a switch now. Edwards is on Lambiat. He's left-handed.
And there's the big rebound after a loose tip. Rebound credited to Jadlow, and here comes Jones. Indiana with a lead, 4-2. And a whistle. Foul underneath. And that's going to be called against Jadlow on a hole as he and Schwabe mix it up.
Jadlow's trying to get position inside. Let's take a look at it. He's going to be right there. Look, he's hooking with his left hand. That's a good call. And it goes the right way against Indiana.
The turnover gives the ball back to the Wildcats, trailing by 2. It's always tough for Indiana to win at Welsh-Ryan Arena. This crowd, you're right, Laz, once they get into it, they can cause some trouble. Peterson from outside, and they've tied the game.
Although we always get a lot of Indiana fans here, the second level here is a lot of red and white. A lot of Indiana fans, of course, in the Chicago area.
Over to Hillman. Chadlow, that's short, into the hands of Anderson. He's fouled as he goes up, and I believe it might be a late call. Let's see if they call it on Schwabe. No, they call it on 22 Holmes. Schwabe had a hand right in the middle of Anderson's back. Gave him a shove when he went after the ball.
On the rebound, he did. Chadlow misses everything here. Way short. Watch right there. Schwabe pushed, but did not interfere with Anderson getting the rebound. The foul came on the shot, so he's got 2 shots.
Eric, a Chicago product from DeSales. This is the first of a 2-shot opportunity, averaging 11.1 in Big Ten play. 11-3 overall. Second one's off the front and bounces to the right. Well, the Hoosiers are going to need the line, Laz.
They are. They're 6th in the conference now in free throw shooting, about 72% as a team. So a little room for improvement there.
Polite. Oh, a little give and go, and Polite gets the 2. Don Polite, a junior from Weston, Connecticut. And he puts the Wildcats in front for the first time. Over to Jones.
Need to shake up the offense right here. Northwestern did a nice job of throwing Indiana off and not giving a good shot. There's some good action there.
And the foul will be against Polite as Chadlow takes it right into the paint off the feed by Eric Anderson.
I think the feeds inside are going to have to come on cuts from the weak side as opposed to just post up on the strong side or the ball side, because Northwestern will have a chance to surround us. We have our first time out in the ball game.
You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network, where the Hoosiers trail the Wildcats 6-4. We're back at Welsh-Ryan Arena on the campus of Northwestern University, and Laz, not being in tune totally with what concepts of this game involve in timeouts at this stage, but I would imagine that neither team right now wants the pace of the game to get away from it.
Exactly. The turnovers is what's gotten away from Indiana. They have not been able to work that ball inside like they want. Look at the field goal shooting. Indiana only 5 shots. 2 out of 5. The Northwestern's 3 of 8. So they need to get more shots on offense. Not real good early in the ball game. Let's see what they change now. Look like Chadlow's playing a little higher now by the free throw line and then moving down.
3 by Hillman, and that puts Indiana back on top 7-4. Hillman has 5 already.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Indiana can't get the ball by standing on the block. They're going to have to move to it. So they start Chadlow high. He's got a foul at the Indiana defensive end.
That goes against Jay Edwards. That's a block early in the contest. Edwards really trying to stay on top of his man and gets a little too close. 3rd team foul against Indiana. 1st against Edwards. This is David Holmes, a 6'4" freshman. Inside it goes Peterson, high over the outstretched arms, and the rebound up and in by number 21, Phil Stiles.
So just the basic things. There's a missed block out that leads to a basket, but these are the kind of things that if the Northwestern's able to stay close, could change the momentum of the ball game, especially near the end.
Indiana breaks the press, but they can't get it in and can't get any mismatches, so it comes back out to Edwards, to Hillman, and he travels. And Bill Foster up over there helping Phil Robinson make that call. 8-7 Northwestern. As you look at Bob Knight, 505 career victories. Would like to add 506 tonight. Stiles way out. Well, that's Polite. is Ross, Brian, Rob Ross, number 12. Inside, a little give and go. Boy, they hooked that up well as Evan Peterson gets his second field goal. And it's a 3-point Wildcat lead. To Edwards. Indiana trying to find a way to solve this 2-3 defense. Jay looking. Anderson back to Hillman. Step in by Jones and 2.
Had about 10 seconds left on the shot clock, but good patience on offense there. Finally, before you can split the defense, and that's what Lynn wants to do.
Bob Ross, Provo, Utah. 6-footer. This is Polite. And to Schwabe. Back to Ross. On a steal. As Lyndon Jones had his arm hooked, pulled it away, but still maintained control of the ball. No call. Now Lyndon at the point. 3 on the way by Edwards. Oh, that's well over everything. Air ball. Here comes Ross. They have a 2-on-2. A little stop and start. And a foul will go against Lyndon Jones. His first and the team 4th.
Here's that last action. Rob Ross with a stop and go right there. Draws a non-shooting foul against Indiana. Jamal Meeks checks in for Indiana. As you look at Jeff Gross from Warsaw checking in for Northwestern.
And Lambiot back in for the Wildcats. Lambiot replacing Polite. So Bill Foster trying to platoon a little bit here and give his starters some rest. And it's Polite to trigger into Ross, and around it goes. This is Gross. (10-9). Lob inside to Schwabe, high over the rim, over the back, and that foul is going to be called on Peterson. Coming over the back of Todd Jadlow. On Peterson, his first, and that is the team's 6th.
Let's watch the position now that Jadlow has. The shot's going to go up, and see, he gets a late jump. Peterson beats him to the jump, but Peterson also got called for the foul. Out of bounds to Indiana.
They give Jones a breather with Jamal Meeks in there. Remember, we said Jones suffering from a little strep. Inside to Jadlow. Up. It's good. Offensive foul. Are they going to count the basket? Let's wait to see. No basket. Offensive foul on Todd Jadlow. His 3rd.
Let's watch. Here's the Jadlow's moving for the ball well today, but there you see the foul before he lets go of the ball, so you can't count that basket, and Brian Sloan checks in for Jadlow.
Indiana loses some height advantage now with Sloan at 6'8". Jadlow down on the bench with 3 fouls. Peterson, let's see whether Northwestern tries to go into Peterson more on the mismatch. Although Sloan is guarding Schwabe. Loose ball and knocked away. It's Meeks to control for Indiana. Edwards is still at 10-9. Saved inside. Anderson to the glass for 2.
Alert play by Hillman. Well, I think the players thought that might go out of bounds, and they froze for a second. Hillman stayed right on and got a nice pass to Anderson.
Ross wants to go down low to Peterson. Back into Lambiot. He misses. He leaned in. Bodies go down. No call. That brought Knight up. Edwards goes to the glass. That doesn't fall. Rebound to Peterson. Here's Gross. He'll fire 3. No. Schwabe back up. No. Lambiot. They can't get it to fall. And we have on the line, I believe the ball bounced on the line. It's Indiana's ball. Well, action is fast and furious. The Hoosiers not getting control of their boards, but we have a timeout with 11:17 left in the first half. You're watching Indiana basketball from Welsh-Ryan Arena in Evanston, Illinois. Indiana has the lead, 11-10.
A lot of communication systems cause more problems than they solve. But Centrex, it's easy to use. And it gives me economy and reliability through the Indiana Bell network. And as my business grows, and it will, no problem.
For the service, the systems, and the solutions that work, call Indiana Bell first.
Your local Chevy dealer asks, when it's Chevy Cavalier versus Toyota Corolla, who wins? Recently, in an independent survey, Chevy Cavalier sold for $3,400 less than a comparably equipped Toyota Corolla. $3,400 less for Cavalier, with a longer wheelbase and fuel injection versus their carburetor. The facts are in. When it's Chevy Cavalier versus Toyota Corolla, Chevy wins, with more car for a lot less money at your local Chevy dealer. That's why in Central Indiana, we drive Chevy.
There's the score, 11-10. During that timeout, Bob Knight had some really heated words with Randy Drury, one of the officials. And the fans are all over the back of Knight, especially that cheering section, Laz, that you mentioned, which is directly behind the Indiana bench.
A little better on the field goal shooting now, 5 of 10 for Indiana. Northwestern not doing well at all.
Down to the baseline, Sloan, he's trapped down there, gets it in. Meeks goes to the glass, he's fouled, the basket counts.
Well, that's an interesting play as Indiana had moved both their big men outside. Northwestern traps, and Jamal comes from the point and makes a cut to the basket. And now he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Very smart play by Jamal as he saw the opening on the zone and then went right for it.
Jamal hits the free throw. The foul was on 32, Brian Ross, his first. So Meeks with 3 points, a big three.
That's 5 in a row for Indiana. They were down 10-9 and now take a 4-point lead.
14-10. Anderson steps across. Phil Robinson says it'll be Northwestern ball. And Knight still has a few words for the officials. Well, when doesn't he? Most of the time, I think we've recognized down through the years, a lot of those are justified. Here's Lambiot, no good. Good crash inside by Ross. That's Brian Ross. Lambiot outside. Gross from 3. No, it's not going to go. And Indiana hustling for that ball. It was Meeks and Hillman gets the advantage. Top of the key. Meeks sends it inside. Sloan really wasn't looking. Now back to Bryan. Off to Anderson. To Hillman. 3. Nope, not going to fall. Rebound to Anderson. He muscles it back up and in. Now, needless to say, Eric Laz would like to have a good game up here.
Sloan went down. Lambiot hit him, but no call there.
Gross steps in, partially blocked. Meeks on the save, and now he holds it up.
Well, Jay, it was a good block that time. Indiana playing a lot better defensively now as they've really held Northwestern on this 10 for quite a while.
Ball away, tipped up by Sloan, no good. That was a one-handed effort. Good steal by Meeks. And a steal right back by Lambiot. In the corner to Ross. That misses everything. Sloan with the rebound for Indiana.
See Hillman grab it. He wants to slow it down. Excellent play by Jamal. And then he throws it right back to Northwestern.
Hillman. Anderson tipped away. Lambiot. Here come the Wildcats and throws it away. Throws it right behind Jeff Gross.
So we mentioned both teams. At least Bill Foster wanted a slower game, and he's going to call timeout to talk about that very fact.
And for that, we will take advantage of this opportunity as you watch this stat. You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network with Indiana holding a 6-point lead.
If you're looking for a rotor or a windshield wiper motor, yeah, you'll find it at CarQuest.
No matter what you drive, you'll get unbeatable performance with Champion spark plugs. Champion gets your engine started right away and running its best year-round. So for sure starts and protection, be sure to go with Champion.
Take it from Roy Clark and the repairmen. If it's a really tough part, then don't lose heart. Yeah, you'll find it at CarQuest.
For your farm, your family, your
Today's game is brought to you in part by your local Cyanamid Agri-Center dealer, representing America's best agricultural suppliers and committed to helping farmers care for the land. We hope all of you enjoy today's game.
There's the score, 16-10. The time remaining. Northwestern led at the 15:23 mark. So in the last 6.5 minutes, Indiana has outscored Northwestern. Northwestern at that time leading 6-4, and Indiana's outscored them 12-4. This is before the last timeout. This is when he's talking to Drury.
Three-point shot, and coach felt that Indiana should have got a three-point shot, and they got a two-point shot, and he didn't like the response from the referee.
The Hoosiers with the lead and the ball. Over to Hillman. Makes a good baseline move, drops it back out to Edwards. He has time to set for this one, and he hits it.
You're exactly right. Time to set. Northwestern's really been watching the side he's on. But when Hillman makes that baseline move, that brought all that zone defense inside and gave Edwards an extra second for that shot.
Peterson's all alone, and he cans it as Sloan just about a beat too late in getting back. Up it comes to Sloan. We had Anderson for a moment on an alley-oop but didn't recognize it. And that's not faulting him. It's just hard to see these things out there. We probably had the best seat in the house for that. Here's Hillman off the glass. No good. Rebound to Lambiot. He does a good job of working those boards. Averages 5.5. 7:53 remaining. Down in the corner and off the rim. No good. Shot by Bill Stiles.
Better job by Indiana in the rebounding now. At first, Northwestern was getting some second shots, but they've really held them now on just one shot each time down the floor.
Want the ball in the hands of this man as much as possible. Jay Edwards. Inside. And a travel against Brian Sloan, who went down hard to the floor and then turns around and says something to Phil Robinson as if, wasn't I fouled before I went in? But let's look.
This is the right place to get the ball, but there's just too much congestion here. They see knocks and knees there and got called for the travel.
19-12, the Hoosiers by 7, and once again Sloan goes down. Back up to match up against Peterson. Little bump inside. Lambiot gets that left-handed sweeping hook going for his first field goal. And then puts the pressure on Jamal Meeks. Gets it right back and into the middle. And back outside. Boy, Indiana's wings were slow in coming over to help Hillman. Kicked away.
Good quickness outside by Northwestern. Indiana's having trouble getting that pass back and forth. But they can still slow the offense down. They've got the 5-point lead now. And don't need to try to score quickly because Northwestern really doesn't want to play a speed game anyway.
Jamal Meeks working the point. In the corner to Sloan. Won't go. Stiles. And here comes Northwestern trailing by 5. Lambiot over Anderson for 3. No, he said he was on the line. Just 4. Well, Northwestern getting its nose back into this ball game. Step in by Hillman inside. Anderson for 2. Soft over the rim.
That's what Indiana needs more of, that pass fake. You saw Hillman use it that time and then get an easy layup.
Holmes looking. Down deep to Peterson. Peterson with a turnaround. The average is only 4. And he has 8 already.
Not really known as an offensive threat, but he's taken that fadeaway jump shot inside. And Chuck mentioned has 8 points today.
3 on the way by Edwards. Yes. Oh, all he has to do now is square up.
Tough shot there as he fell away a little bit from the basket. Had a hand in his face, still able to make it. Gives Indiana that 6-point lead.
Lambiot. And look at Jamal Meeks. Makes the save, goes across the baseline to Hillman. You know, Laz, I'm very much impressed with young men on any team, whether it's Indiana, and of course we get to see them more than anyone, how well they recognize the capabilities of their teammates. And a block will be called on Don Polite, his second. Northwestern is over the limit. Schwabe will be checking in. And I believe he's going to replace Polite. Ryan Schwabe back in for Don Polite. Indiana's at the line. Another substitution. Chucky White for Indiana last.
Jay picked up on that well. He knows that Northwestern's going to be watching for him in that three-point shot. He tried to do that, saw the pressure coming out, just faked that shot and made a nice drive. So he had 22 points in the first game against Northwestern. Looks like he's getting a better start here in the first half, too. Remember, this year he's had a problem getting started, and then the second half coming out strong. But seems to be well into the game now. Still in the first half. 5 minutes left in the first half.
Jay rattles both those, but gets him to drop, and Indiana's lead now is 26-18, an 8-point advantage. Schwabe, and it goes into Peterson, and 45 fouls, 45. It'll be on Brian Sloan's. His first. Received a telephone call, incidentally, from one of the stations in Salt Lake City. And, of course, that's where Brian's father is coaching the Utah Jazz. And they want a little story with Brian. And they said his dad's very anxious to talk about him. We're going to try to see if we can oblige him. Schwabe. Holmes. Hillman's trying to get over the top of Lambiot. And we're going to have a foul, and that's going to go against who? Indiana, apparently, and that will be against Hillman as he tries to fight his way up.
Can't let Lambiot get the ball inside. Now watch Joe. He's trying to move around. See, right now that's Lambiot's position. Joe's trying to get around the top and has to pull with that arm to try to keep position. So that puts Indiana over the limit now. Northwestern will be at the line.
Lambiot, 57%. And the left-hander, he's playing with 2 personal fouls. Puts this one up high. No good. Rebounded to Edwards. Now to Meeks. 26-18, Indiana. See what the Hoosiers can do with it here.
We moved Edwards to the other side of the floor for this possession.
Misses the shot, back up and in, count the basket, and it's going to go to Brian Sloan. Misses the first, but gets his rebound.
He stayed right after it. You saw him make the drive. That ball slipped out of his hand, but he was right there on the weak side for the rebound.
Lambiot into Gross, and once again, baseline's there to protect Schwabe, and he gets, no, that's Peterson, I'm sorry. Peterson really having a game. Here's Hillman. Baseline. Inside, knocked away. Indiana ball. This is a good pass from Sloan to Chucky White, but tipped away. And we have a timeout. This is a fast-moving game. 3:56 remaining. You're watching Indiana basketball from Evanston, Illinois, where the Hoosiers hold a lead over the Wildcats 28-20.
Your local Chevy dealer asks, when it's Chevy Corsica versus Toyota Camry, who wins? Recently, in an independent survey, Chevy Corsica sold for $2,600 less than a comparably equipped Toyota Camry. $2,600 less for Corsica with a longer wheelbase, more overall room, and a better warranty. The facts are in. When it's Chevy Corsica versus Toyota Camry, Chevy wins with more car for a lot less money at your local Chevy dealer. That's why in Central Indiana, we drive Chevy.
All right, call me when the dust settles. Right. Frank, haven't seen you in a while.
Bob, who do I talk to about those CDs you're advertising?
CDs? I thought you were sold on market timing.
Don't remind me.
At Bank One, we think the time is right for our federally insured savings plans and CDs to protect your money and earn high interest rates guaranteed.
Yeah, you're right. It feels great to have some money in the bank.
Bank One, 18,000 people who care.
Back on the campus of Northwestern where the Hoosiers own an 8-point lead. Evan Peterson for the Wildcats leading all scorers with 10. And Indiana's leading scorer is Jay Edwards with 8. Edwards will pass it in. It comes all the way back to 44 Hillman and over to 23 Meeks. Jay looking. They started to give him a little room back there. You don't want to do that. He steps in, drops it off. Sloan on baseline, and that's not going to go. A rebound fought for by the Wildcats. And this is Holmes. Lambiot. Look for the ball to go into Lambiot's hands virtually every time down if possible. He's the key. There's Hillman.
That's where Hillman wants him to get the ball outside.
Hillman with a good hand on the ball, and it goes out of bounds. That is a great defensive play by Joe Hillman.
Lambiot's a little frustrated there as Hillman's really preventing him from getting the ball inside, so when he moves outside, that time he knocks it away on the drive. So good defense by Hillman.
Bob Knight and I talked during the week about Northwestern, and all he could talk about was Walker Lambiot. He said he's a great addition to this team. From the corner, it's not going to go. And Edwards' shot bounds deep off the rim. Back to the strong side. Here's Holmes. To Gross. And a battle underneath between Peterson and Chucky White. And White picks up the foul.
Peterson's got 10 first-half points, and he's been doing it by setting up there on the blocks. And Indiana's got a very small lineup in there. Sloan would be the center, really, at 6'7", and then John White, the other forward, at 6'5", and then, of course, the 3 guards. Northwestern doesn't have that tall a lineup, but it really makes Schwabe and Peterson the 2 tallest players on the floor by far.
Peterson will have 1-and-1 and misses. Tipped out. Again, that deep bound comes out in favor of Northwestern. Ross over to Stiles. Knocked away. Quick recovery. Jay Edwards.
Defense has done an excellent job here in the first half, keeping Northwestern down to 20 points.
Down on the baseline again. Sloan is doubled and off the knee of Chucky White.
The baseline's not a good place to take that ball. Northwestern gets a chance to double team, and there you saw the turnover.
Anderson will check back in for Indiana. Pass may have been pretty close to the feet of Chucky White, and Brian Sloan's going to take a breather.
When you see that trap coming, you got to try to get rid of it before it occurs. And Northwestern used that sideline for another defender.
Ross. See Lambiot coming over to the ball side. Stiles. Here comes Lambiot. Back to Ross. They want to go inside to Peterson. Boy, he and Anderson really haven't. Oh, that's Gross. Schwabe, I'm sorry. They call the foul on Schwabe as he and Anderson really getting shoulders and arms into it under there. Ryan Schwabe from Mercer Island, Washington, a 6'9" senior. The second leading scorer on this Wildcat team with 14.1. Anderson's last trip to the line resulted in 0 for 2. This time he hits the first. Good look at the young man from Chicago to Sales. Second is good. He has 8 points. Now Northwestern trailing by 10, 30-20 with 1:56 remaining. And the foul will go against Joe Hillman. This game is being called very closely by the officials. And I think, Laz, they sense that with the extra enthusiasm and adrenaline from Northwestern, the game physically could get out of control.
Well, it's getting physical, mostly going for position. We haven't seen that many fouls on drives to the basket, but it's been both teams trying to fight for position inside where they're drawing that foul.
Lyndon Jones will check back in. Phil Robinson holds the ball just for a moment before Lambiot can put it up. Good-looking young man, Lambiot, from Woodstock, Virginia. He's a transfer. Hillman will take a breather. We're inside 2 minutes. Walker Lambiot readies for the first of a 1-and-1, and it won't go. I don't think he gets the rebound, however. Back to the baseline, knocked away, back up, and in by, guess who? Evan Peterson.
No block out that time on the man shooting the ball. He's the one that came up with it.
Good pressure on Jay Edwards that time by Schwabe, but Edwards managed to get the ball. Over to Edwards. Inside. Uses a screen by White. And saved. Here's Ross on the lead to Lambiot. He shoots over Jones for 2. And this is just what you and I commented about it. The timeout, Laz. They're getting back into this contest with 1:07 remaining. They're trailing by 6 and a bump by Lambiot, and that's his 3rd foul, and that's danger on Walker Lambiot. That's a lot of trouble.
Big foul there for Northwestern. Lyndon Jones bringing the ball up. They just scored 4 points in a row, but now their best player offensively has his 3rd foul. Naturally, he comes out. So that could be a real key there, just a foul dribbling down the floor against Walker Lambiot.
Take a look at it.
The pass comes back over to Lyndon, and this is not a good play. You can see right away that Walker knows he made a mistake there.
Got a little bit too close, as Jones had already beaten him. Lyndon with his first free throw. We have 1 minute, 4 seconds remaining. 31-24 is the score. And a good save by Northwestern on that scramble for the loose ball. Rob Ross will work it across the line. Picked up by Meeks. Gross. Down to Polite. Polite will lean in. He gets the basket and the foul on Anderson.
Polite used that left hand as he drove in the middle. He's very quick. Indiana has to help right there. Jamal Meeks was late getting there to help, and Anderson makes the foul.
There's a look from ground level, and you see nothing but net on the shot by Don Polite. 31-26, a 5-point game with 44 seconds remaining. Shot clock will not be in effect now, so Indiana can play for the last shot. And Polite misses. And the rebound goes to Chucky White.
Northwestern having big trouble there from the free throw line. You're right, Chuck. This will leave one shot. Hillman trying to get in the ball game, but he won't be able to now, as Indiana will just keep it. 5-point lead now.
Indiana will have the last shot at the basket unless Northwestern comes out for the foul, and that's highly unlikely with 20 seconds remaining. Meeks. And this is the man that will be handling it on that last shot. You know that. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, back to Meeks. What are they going to try to set? Here it is. And a travel called on Jay Edwards. With 4 seconds remaining. So I stand corrected. Northwestern will have the last shot. And it's going to be number 23, Rex Walters, checking in, replacing Rob Ross. Walters. 3 seconds. He'll fire. Nope. It goes to Polite at the buzzer. No basket. And we've come to the end of the first half. A very interesting first half and very hard played by both teams. That's the end of the first 20 minutes of action. The score is Indiana 31, Northwestern 26. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Hooks wants to help you stay active and fit for life. That's why Hooks dependable drugstores carry Futuro Elastic Health Supports and Sports Braces. Futuro's full line of support aids provides temporary help with sacro bracers, knee and elbow supports, even Futuro's sheer support pantyhose for tired legs. For your active life, look to Hooks for Futuro's complete line of health supports and sports braces.
We like to see you smile.
You pay $16 for one pizza? Little Caesars, I pay 10 for 2 pizzas. My place delivers. You pay $6 more for one pizza than I pay for 2 pizzas. Give me the 16. I'll pay 10 for 2 pizzas and pocket the 6.
You got a tip?
Yeah, you got a tip. You a big tipper? 20%. 20% of $16. Now you're talking 1920.
1920? I was born in 1920.
Delivery costs. Now at Little Caesars, you get 2 great pizzas for $6.88.
Pan.
Only at Little Caesars.
You know, there are a lot of places where you can look for an auto part. But here is where you'll find it. Napa. We've got your part. In fact, we have more than 125,000 parts available. Napa has parts for imports and other hard-to-find parts, and at the right prices. So don't waste time looking anyplace else. Come to Napa first. We've got your part.
It's a gamble. Each spring, they wonder what the weather and what the price of things will bring. But it's the only work most farmers know, and there isn't anything else they'd rather do. There have been better times than now. A few have been worse. But self-reliance makes you a survivor. The next time you sit down to a meal, remember the hard-working folks that put food on our tables. Your local Chevy dealers salute farmers.
You're the heartbeat of America. After the sale is done, South RV service is #1.
31-26 is the halftime score. Laz, you and I were talking just a couple of minutes ago. As a matter of fact, at that last timeout, where there was just a minute 45 remaining on the clock, and Indiana had a 30-20 lead. And I said, this is the time when Indiana really has to establish control of the game. And they come out and lose the advantage in scoring in that particular stage, 4-1. They were outscored by Northwestern, so it's a 5-point lead instead of a 10.
Not a bad first half for Indiana. I think the thing that hurt them most were the turnovers on the offense. Some silly passes, double team one time down the baseline. Those are the things that hurt. Their defense, again, has kept them in this ballgame. They've kept Northwestern down. Lambert's only got 6 points, their big score, but it's Peterson who's been picking up some from the inside. So I think just better control of the ball, a little slower tempo, control those turnovers should result in the win in the second half.
A great battle on the inside in that post to Peterson as they're getting the ball into him. What will Indiana do to adjust to that?
Well, Indiana doesn't have a big lineup in there. That's been the problem with Jadlow and Anderson both on the bench. Peterson's the biggest guy out there by 2 or 3 inches. He's taking advantage of that. We really need to get Anderson or Jadlow playing well so they can go in there and stack up against them, because Hillman sure is doing the job on Lambiat.
Okay. Tonight's game is coming to you from McGaw Hall, the Welsh-Ryan Arena, McGaw Hall, between Indiana and Northwestern. And the score at halftime is Indiana 31, the Wildcats 26.
For your farm, your family, your piece of America, AgriCenter means more.
Today's game is brought to you in part by your local Cyanamid AgriCenter dealer, representing America's best agricultural suppliers and committed to helping farmers care for the land.
AgriCenter means more.
We hope all of you enjoy today's game.
The Clydesdales, the symbol of Budweiser quality, of Beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
At the St. Petersburg Times, press operators had to wait while pages were sent by hand from an office miles away. But then, with the help of GTE, they came up with a way to send those pages over fiber optic phone lines, saving precious time and money. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us. We deliver.
If you're planning a vacation this winter, US Air has some good news and some bad news. The good news is US Air has low fares on lots of departures to sunny Florida, Arizona, and California. The bad news is our low fares are round trip.
I'm very intelligent. I mean, not very, but I'm intelligent for my age, and I can be anything I want to. I'm going to college, and I'm a major in journalism.
You can be whatever you want to be. And that's what I've learned, that, you know, I'm going to be that architect that I always wanted to be, and I'm going to be the best, too.
I always thought of becoming a CPA and make my own CPA firm.
I'm the first one from my family that go to college and graduate from high school.
These young people are only a few of the high school students who are taking advantage of the opportunities at Indiana University Northwest at Gary and at IU Purdue Fort Wayne to work with faculty members and community leaders to provide a bridge into higher education and a successful career. At the Gary campus, Professor Philip Rutledge is Special Assistant to IU President Thomas Ehrlich for Minority Affairs and heads up the Career Beginnings program. There are 4 components to the Career Beginnings program. First, paid summer internships and after-school work experience. Second, established successful adult mentors. Third, training workshops for job search strategies, life skills, and college application. And fourth, year-long counseling on choosing a career, getting into college, and getting a full-time job.
This package of techniques was put together, one, to be sure that the youngster stays in high school and graduates, and secondly, to be sure that the youngster, after he has graduated, either goes on to college for further education, or that the person moves into an upward mobile position.
At the Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne campus, a similar program of outreach for middle school students is called Future Academic Scholars Track, or FAST. Betty Poignard is Director of Multicultural and Special Services.
The goals are, number one, is to provide an opportunity for early access to higher education, an opportunity for students to plan, and parents to plan ahead for higher education, because we do have seminars for parents also on financial planning, you know, how to get the best out of your resources for the future. It is also an opportunity for students to develop problem-solving techniques, an opportunity for them to be exposed to various courses in math, science, and English, such as creative writing, use of resources, priority setting, how to make decisions, how to study. So all of that will be covered in the course of the program. The main objective is to see that more minorities and at-risk students go to college.
The special opportunities at IU Northwest at Gary and IU Purdue Fort Wayne reflect the concern of all IU campuses in order for all Hoosiers to have access to higher education at Indiana University, one university with 8 front doors.
Let's pause now to hear from our local stations. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
From Chicago to Los Angeles, ride Amtrak's Southwest Chief, and come to where the sun rules the earth, where canyon walls give up the secrets of rivers long dead, and buttes and mesas whisper ancient stories. In this land, horizons run forever, and the colors of the earth have a life of their own. Ride the Southwest Chief, where desert winds carve steeples to the sky, and the earth itself seems to worship the sun.
Take it from Dave Lennox. For quality sales and service, Williams Comfort Air are the professionals to call. Here's why.
Their team of trained professionals stand ready to serve your every home comfort need. A commitment to excellence is reflected in the products they sell, like Lennox, and the services they offer, like plan service and responsive radio dispatched service. Jim Williams and his team are committed to being Indianapolis's best heating and air conditioning company. Quality products backed by expert installation is their business.
For quality proven over time, Williams Comfort Air are the ones to call.
Once again at halftime, Indiana leading 31-26. The other two big shootouts in the Big Ten this evening, the significance of all 4 teams with identical 5-3 records. At Iowa City, Iowa now taking a pounding, that is, by Michigan, 24-18. And Illinois at home at Champaign, leading Ohio State 21-14. Once again, Indiana by 5 at the half. Join us with a post game with comments from Dan Dockich and Ted Kitchell. Let's go back now to Northwestern.
31-26 is the halftime score. Indiana with that 5-point lead. It has been as high as 30-20, a 10-point advantage. Keys in this game, I think, have been Jay Edwards, his 3-point shooting, and Lambiot has been, of course, the key. They want the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Yeah, Jay's shot well from the outside. In fact, the only ones he's made are 3-pointers. This was because Hillman drew everybody inside and left him up on the outside. He's 2 for 2 from that 3-point range. And then Walker Lambiat on the other end for Northwestern. He's been their big scoring machine in the past, but Joe Hillman's done the job on him. This time, you see it was a switch inside. They left Anderson on him, and Lambiat takes a shot from the outside.
That was a 2-point shot. They are actually 0 for 4 from 3-point range. Well, Indiana is back on the court, so is Northwestern. In the strategies now that we're going to have to look at in the second half of this game, what does Northwestern have to do? Do they still have to maintain that heavy pressure?
I think Northwestern will, Chuck. They're only 5 points down. They made a little comeback there at the end, but I think they still want to keep that slow-paced game going. They need to do a better job of getting Lambiat open where he can score, though.
And then, of course, for Indiana, you mentioned it earlier, Indiana needs somebody big as a post inside to work against Peterson. Look at this. Halftime score. We knew that was going to be a tough game. This is a game that surprises me a little bit, and you, although I did not think that Iowa would win it. I didn't think it'd be that wide.
Yeah, but it's at Iowa, and Iowa plays well there. There you see the big scoring game there among 3 and 5. But Michigan, that would be a big victory for them at Iowa if they're able to hold on.
Now stay tuned for second half action. We'll be ready in just a minute.
Of the two ways shown here to get out of a drift, we think Chevy's InstaTrack system is a lot easier. So if you haven't already bought a new Chevy 4x4 this winter, consider making friends with someone who did.
That's today's Chevy truck.
We got something for you.
Master C on the floor, MasterCard to your door. Take me down my favorite aisle, take me out tonight in style. Get the best, it's not too hard, with your Pacers MasterCard.
Apply for your Pacers MasterCard, a preferred interest rate, and special Pacers promotions just for cardholders.
Yeah, get the best, it's not too hard, with your Pacers MasterCard.
What did I tell you?
WR Air Services began by personally handling your critical air freight shipments. Then we expanded into trucking by offering guaranteed overnight LTL service in the Midwest. Now, with the completion of our public warehouse, WR Air Services is able to meet your storage requirements, whether it is a few cartons to free up that necessary office space or a major distribution program. So throw a call my way. A phone call.
Need a little help around the house? Look in the book where you've always found it.
Let's see. Roofers.
Ameritech Pages Plus, the original Indiana Bell Yellow Pages. Need a phone number in a hurry?
Hello, Pete's Pest Control. I've got a slight insect problem.
There's only one place you know you'll find it.
How fast can you get here?
Ameritech Pages Plus, the original Indiana Bell Yellow Pages.
Get your eyewear wardrobe going at Dr. Tavel's Premium Optical. Buy a pair from our fashion collection, get a pair from our premium selection for only $1 at Dr. Tavel's Premium Optical.
Well, the halftime statistics show exactly what has happened in this game. Northwestern with 2 more field goals, taking 10 more shots. And the free throw shooting has been a deciding factor. Indiana shooting 67% on 6 of 9 and 0 for 6 for Northwestern.
Here's a 3-point shooting, 3 of 7. Jay Edwards is not 2 for 2. He has missed some. The rebound edge Northwestern. Look at the shots taken. 10 more shots for Northwestern. The free throw shooting is what's held Indiana in the lead. 10 turnovers for Indiana. So there, the carelessness with the ball right there is hurt.
The statistic there with 220 conference wins, the most ever in Big Ten history.
Good to see some former Indiana players here today. Glenn Grunwald is behind the bench, as well as Jim Wisman. Steve Allfeld is here making the trip.
Jim Wisman in marketing with one of the large agencies here in town. Glenn Grunwald is an attorney. And, his home is from this area in the Illinois, however. And, of course, Steve Allfeld, we're bound to see him just about anywhere.
He just likes taking trips, I think, and watch the games. He's a big fan, obviously.
Well, Bill Foster is in his 3rd season. He's won 435 and lost 321 in 29 years at the helm. It'll be Northwestern with the ball to start action in the second half as they go right to left. Lambiat with 3 personal fouls, and Hillman has the task of playing him to start this second half. Chucky White starts for Indiana. Peterson gets a turnaround inside, and good board in there by Walker Lambiot for the first field goal to start the second half. And Randy Drury apparently needs a towel or something. I don't know what. Anyway, he's pointing down to Ted Valentine.
There are some photographers down on the far side of the floor, and he's going to remove them to the end of the floor instead of along the sideline, so they don't interfere with the play of the game. But it mentioned Lambiot needed to score more, and there you saw it. He just muscled in there for a rebound, and nothing Hillman could do about it.
Well, this delay of the game is trying to get these photographers down to the baseline. They have to get all the way down. The baseline is the rule. It's Ted Valentine.
Pressed by Northwestern. About 3/4, again, just to keep the pace of the game slow.
Lyndon Jones works it against the trap, and up it comes to Hillman. Hillman right in the center of the floor gets the release. Back to Jones. That's Holmes on Hillman. Down in the corner to Edwards. Down to the baseline. No room. Oh, almost throws it away. Still 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Big pressure by Northwestern. You can see Holmes away outside on Hillman. Indiana having a tough time getting the shot away.
Into Hillman. Out to Edwards for 3. Good patience by Indiana, but it's a deep bound and comes off to Holmes of Northwestern. They trail 31-28. Stiles bumps into Hillman, no good. Rebound pulled away by Schwabe, back up off the rim. Anderson gets the ball, pulled away by Peterson, no call.
It's like Northwestern starting to hit the boards a little harder. That's twice now. The first time they came up with a possession. This time Indiana grabs it.
Into White. Back to Jones, over to Edwards, into the paint, drops it off to Hillman for 3. No. And a little bump by Hillman knocked the ball out of Holmes's hands. The fans wanted a foul there. Outside Lambiot, he's got it. 3, we're tied. And there's debris on the floor. About the spot where Lyndon Jones would be throwing it in, and they're going to have to mop up the floors. Confetti or something, looks like some tin foil out there near the playing area. Bill Robinson making sure the floor is clear, and then the ball will be given to Jones as we are tied at the 18-11 mark. Now Indiana has allowed Northwestern to get back into this game noise-wise. There's a travel call against Lyndon Jones.
He picked his dribble up way back under the basket, and that's going to bring Jamal Meeks in the lineup.
And it'll give the Wildcats an opportunity to take the lead. Something they have not held since the early going of this game. Tipped away.
Good switch
defense
inside by John White that time, and then he was able to keep that ball away. A little safer taking it out of bounds on the side for Indiana than it is under the basket.
Holmes goes to Stiles, and right through the hands of Brian Schwabe. Indiana ball.
So that defensive pressure has really kept Indiana alive a lot this year, Chuck, and that's something they're going to have to use in this ball game today. The offense is not working as well. Credit that, though, to the Northwestern defenses. Both defenses getting the job done today.
We're tied at 31. Edwards to the baseline. He's got it.
Well, tough shot there, as you see. He's been used to setting and taking that three-pointer, but he's going to take it a little more on the drive, it looks like, in this second half. That time a fall-away shot.
There is a hooking foul called against Northwestern. And that will go against Peterson, his second, as the freshman, who had a great first half, has picked up foul number 2, his first in the second half. Meeks over to Hillman. Edwards steps up, fires. That's short. Timed well by Schwabe this time, and out it comes to Holmes. David works it across to Stiles, down to the baseline, shut off by White, underneath, and back up again, bounced in and around by 45 Peterson. See what Indiana does this time. Step in by Edwards, back to Hillman. Anderson baseline, no. Rebound to Stiles, knocked away, saved by Indiana. And once again, Meeks really hustling under the board. Off it goes, inside to Anderson, up to the glass, he gets it. Good, hard effort by Eric Anderson.
A great hustle there as Joe Hillman goes right over to Randy Drury for a contact lens timeout. But Jamal Meeks comes up with a big rebound, kept alive by Chucky White. And then the play goes into Anderson, and he uses muscle inside. So that was 3 new players for Indiana this year that ended up in that basket. Northwestern had just come back to tie the ball game. And then, if you will, a 20-second injury timeout for Hillman as he lost the contact, hurried right over to an official and explained the problem. And so Indiana got a timeout. He's at the bench now with trainer Tim Garl getting that corrected.
So Hillman appears to be ready, as Indiana will set now defensively, with Northwestern to bring it up, trailing 35-33. We have 16:25 left in this game. Peterson. Northwestern trying to show some patience in getting this going. Walker Lambiot outside. David Holmes with Jay Edwards right on him. Peterson, there's White right in front. Northwestern showing a little patience. Little pump. Back up and in. Peterson again. Indiana is getting beaten on the boards at both ends.
And that was something that didn't happen in the first half. Peterson that time with the offensive rebound.
Jamal Meeks trying to set things up. Down to White. Inside, Anderson. Little hesitation on the pump, but he scores it anyway.
So he's making that move from the back of the zone, and that's what you want because the defense can't see him cutting in there. Hillman sees him from the strong side. This is a nice pass to him.
Good effort by Joe Hillman, and Hillman now with a slap on the shoulder of Chucky White as we have a timeout. It's 15:04 left to play. You're watching Indiana basketball from Welsh-Ryan Arena in Evanston, Illinois. Indiana with the lead, 37-35.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, and for the team, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
For your farm, your family, your piece of America. AgriCenter means more.
Cyanabid AgriCenter dealers are working with farmers in the area, helping them meet conservation compliance requirements, doing their part to protect valuable farmland from erosion.
AgriCenter means more.
Ask about conservation compliance at your AgriCenter dealer.
It was a 6-point, check that, 5-point game, 31-26 at halftime. It is now a 2-point game as Indiana has been outscored 9-6 in this second half, the first 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
Rebounding's been a problem, so Jadlow's back in there now with Anderson. So a much bigger lineup for Indiana.
Well, Lambiot, just as a last-ditch effort, got the ball off Hillman, or the 5-second count would have expired. Now he's looking to get it in. And it comes all the way back out to Peterson, to Ross. Rob Ross. To Schwabe. And he's on the line. That's good defensive position as Todd Jadlow held on the move.
So Indiana needs that taller lineup in there for rebounding, and there you saw that the little intimidation caused the turnover on the out of bounds.
Release to Hillman, up court to Jadlow. Todd, who is not a dribbler, will give it up pretty quickly. Inside it goes to Jadlow, and we got a foul over the wrist. Will be called on David Holmes. Make that 21 instead of 22. That's Stiles.
Indiana's going to try to get to the line more often, too. They shot 9 free throws in the first half. That's only the second team foul against Northwestern. 14:42 left to go. So I think with Jadlow in there, you'll see a lot more fouls also.
Over to Jadlow and back to Edwards. Edwards again to Meeks. Edwards drops it off to Hillman. Inside, Anderson wants to move. Jadlow is back up, no foul. Saved in the corner by Meeks.
And that resets the shot clock also.
Inside, Anderson. Here's a reverse layup, and he's fouled as he goes to the basket. 45, Peterson's there. Let's wait to see if it's on him.
Better patience there, and a couple nice passes on the inside.
Lambiot. It's his fourth.
Not a lot of room to work. Let's see what happens. Watch Anderson. He gets a little too far underneath, but comes right around that time. And there's the big foul on Lambiot. We mentioned that foolish foul he made at the end of the first half. And now this one. So he comes out with 4 fouls, 14:09 left. That's going to turn a lot of the scoring back onto Peterson, who's really not used to that.
Gross and Polite back in for Northwestern. Here's Anderson's first. Here's Lambiot, his fourth personal foul. He has 11 points. Came out with a quick 5 here to start the second half. Anderson now with 2 for 2 from the line here in the second half. Near double dribble by Rob Ross. No call. Ross gets it right back. They try to punch it inside, and it goes right through the hands of Evan Peterson.
They've got to look for Peterson now on the inside, where they'd rather look for Lambiot. That time it goes out of bounds. So this could be a real turning point of the ball game with Northwestern searching for some offense now.
Well, as with Lambiot out, they've released the pressure on the inbounds. The full court pressure. And a shoulder foul called on Jeff Gross, and Gross complains to Phil Robinson. The senior from Warsaw picks up his first foul.
And that's 4 team fouls. That foul on Lambiot being the third. So no team fouls yet for Indiana. So I think they really need to concentrate on trying to get to that line. It's been so hard to score from the field. Indiana can get some points from that free throw line, just like they did outscore Northwestern in the first half.
Off to Hillman. Meeks, cross court. Edwards inside. There's the post. It won't go. Tipped up. Fight for the ball. Who has it? Hillman? Yes, there he is. Goes in. Up off the glass. No good. The rebounder Schwabe. A lot of effort there by Joe Hillman. No foul called on that exchange. Now Ross working on Jamal Meeks. Schwabe. Anderson backs away. Schwabe and a little hand check by Anderson. That's going to be a foul called on Eric. It's only his second. Schwabe is pretty quick on his first step last for a 6'9" man.
It can be, and Anderson's got a good matchup with him because they're about the same size.
First foul against Indiana in the second half. Gross. He has Peterson on this side. Gross will fire, and the rebound to Anderson. Out to Meeks. Indiana with a 4-point lead. Off it goes. Edwards for 3. Yes, sir.
Great play by Hillman that time as he fakes that drive all the way to the basket. He gets the defense to commit and then passes back outside. Indiana now back up by 7.
42-35. It's off the rim. No good. Rebound Meeks over the shoulder was Schwabe, but here comes Jamal. Edwards, penetration by Meeks, 3 on the way by Hillman. Yeah, now we've got it rolling, and Bill Foster wants a timeout. We have 12:02 left to play. You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network. The Hoosiers 45, Northwestern 35.
If he were here, I think Fred would have approved. Now, how much are my deposits insured for?
Up to $100,000, plus we compound the interest.
And you can deposit the interest in my checking account.
Automatically. It's just like Social Security.
At Bank One, we think the time is right for guaranteed high-yield investments, our federally insured CDs and money market savings plans.
With all that's happened, it does feel good to have money in the bank.
Bank One, 18,000 people who care.
Your local Chevy dealer asks when it's Chevy Beretta versus Toyota Celica, who wins? Recently, in an independent survey, Chevy Beretta sold for $3,800 less than a comparably equipped Toyota Celica GT. $3,800 less for Beretta, with a longer wheelbase, more overall room, and a better warranty. The facts are in. When it's Chevy Beretta versus Toyota Celica GT, Chevy wins with more car for a lot less money at your local Chevy dealer. That's why in Central Indiana, we drive Chevy.
A 10-point Indiana lead, 45-35 at the 12:02 mark. Last, you know, I hate to say this, I hate to put this onus on the back of one player, but Walker Lambiot makes an enormous difference on this team.
He really does. He's back in the lineup with a 10-point deficit. Bill Foster's got to put him in there and risk that 5th foul, because as we mentioned, their offense just doesn't work when Lambiot's not in the ballgame.
Indiana with a token press. Lambiot with his back to the camera, 34. Down to the baseline. Boy, there's a double team by Indiana. Scramble on the floor. And the Hoosiers down. Look at that. Look who's down there with it. Here comes Indiana. And Jamal Meeks very wisely slows it up as he has a 6'9" frame in front of him in the basket. That's Brian Schwabe. It goes to Edwards. Whistle. And that foul goes against Todd Jadlow. His 4th foul. So Todd trying to play his position. It's called for a personal foul and a costly one for Indiana as they were set up on an offensive opportunity. Indiana by 10, 45-35. Holmes drives, gives to Stiles. They're going to try to go right into Peterson, get that 5th foul on Jadlow. Here's Lambiot outside, little stutter step, loses the ball, tipped away by Meeks, out of bounds to Northwestern. Good hustle. Now Jadlow is going to come out as Sloan will take his place. Jamal Meeks is just around the ball.
And with that defensive pressure, you see how tough it is for Northwestern to get that shot.
Yeah, but they did get it. And that's Schwabe with Anderson guarding him. Brian Schwabe's first points. Now Meeks breaks the pressure to Hillman. Behind the screen for 3. Ho-ho! Light him up, Jay.
That was Brian Sloan who made that good pick, the long cross-court pass.
48-37. Holmes on the line. No. And the rebound to Indiana. And the Indiana fans begin to make more noise here. At least we can hear them.
I think they remember what happened last year when Northwestern pulled it out right at the end.
Hillman. They're daring Indiana to take that shot, so Edwards does, and hits it again.
Boy, he's got this place buzzing. You're right, Chuck. That's 2 in a row.
That's 5.
It gives him 5 for the night, so he's got 15 points just on 3-point shots.
51-37. And they call the foul on Brian Sloan and Bob Knight, Joby Wright, Dr. Brad Bomba, with the entire coaching staff of Indiana's off the bench.
Said he was still moving when the contact was made. And the foul goes against Sloan, Indiana's 3rd team foul. There's a look at Edwards.
Well, Indiana's 4 for 6 in this half. 3 of those to Jay, 1 to Hillman. Illinois Illinois and Ohio State with a big battle farther down in the state. That shot is off the rim, no good, and pulled down by the 6'3" Joe Hillman. And that was a close game. That was a one-point game at halftime. We'll try to update you on that if we can get the score. Indiana 8-1, leading the conference. Oh, great feed. Look at this. Back into Anderson for 2. That is just good ball motion. It went from Edwards to Meeks to Hillman to Anderson.
That's the offense Indiana wants. They run time off the clock. They end up with a good layup shot.
Reese handling the ball. Lucius Reese from Cairo, Illinois. Or do they call it Cairo? Down on the baseline. Styles with that basket. Up to Sloan, to Meeks, to Hillman. Edwards, 3 more on the way. No, this is too long. But he's all alone. They're just daring him to take that shot.
He's still got to take that shot. He was set. Still strong.
Walters, number 23, Rex Walters, a freshman, 6'3". Styles with 3, and it's good. Bill Styles is only 25% from that distance, 4 of 16. Look at Meeks right up the middle.
That's the way to break the press.
53-42. Sloan.
Good patience, taking a little time now.
Indiana making the clock work. Inside, drops it off. Sloan goes up. He's fouled, but saves the ball. Over to Meeks. Look at the drive. Oh, I'll tell you, that's just like threading a needle with surgery thread. He just right down through the gap.
Sloan kept his head that time in that double team. In the first half, he threw it away. This time, he got it to Jamal for the layup.
And that basket is good. Credit it to Reese. You take a little player like Jamal Meeks trying to get through the big heads and the big bodies down there, and it's just like passing just a tiny wisp of thread through a little bitty gap. Sloan, around it goes. Meeks from outside. He hits top of the key.
Gained confidence on that layup shot, and then takes the ball, takes a shot from the outside as it comes around the horn.
Which really, Laz, tells the Wildcats they can't let up pressure on anyone. Outside, 3 on the way. Credit that basket to Rex Walters. We're seeing a shooting performance now down to the baseline. Anderson will not shoot.
So Lambia can't stop Jamal as he cuts right through the middle. He's got to avoid that 5th foul. So Jamal just drives past him each time down the floor on the press.
Inside to Anderson, back up. He gets the basket and draws the foul from Phil Styles, his 3rd. Great performance tonight by Eric Anderson.
Well, the offense is starting to click here in this second half. Pass inside. See the cuts coming from the weak side. It really hurt this zone. There's an off-balance shot, but he gets it to drop.
Schwabe is out. And I think Styles is out. Northwestern's making some substitutions as Anderson doesn't get it to fall across the top of the rim, but he has 18 points. Indiana has a 12-point lead, 59-47 with 6:09 remaining. Blocked shot by Eric Anderson. Outside, 3 more. Oh, yeah. Jay Edwards has given him a treat tonight.
And they're all from about that same angle, too. Bill Foster has to call another timeout.
Well, you would think this man was losing, but he has the lead. You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network. The Hoosiers 62, the Wildcats 47.
The organizers of a recent national sports event had a slight coordination problem. How to link 34 events in 6 different cities. So GTE designed and maintained a network that not only connected people to information, but made it possible for the competition to begin. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us. We're ready.
Hooks wants to help you stay active and fit for life. That's why Hooks dependable drugstores carry Futuro Elastic Health Supports and Sports Braces. Futuro's full line of support aids provides temporary help with sacral braces, knee and elbow supports, even Futuro's sheer support pantyhose for tired legs. For your active life, look to Hooks for Futuro's complete line of health supports and sports braces.
We like to see you smile.
Well, as it's Jay Edwards' show in the second half, he had 8 points at halftime, 14 here in the second half, thanks to 4 three-point field goals and a bunny, if you want to call it. It's inside the three-point line.
Much better offense in the second half. He's been on that left wing, and the pass has come to him. He's been able to get that to go down. How about Eric Anderson? He's got 10 second half points with 18, 4 out of 5 for Jay here in this second half.
Don't forget he had 2 three-point shots in the first half. Back outside to Jeff Gross. They're going to have to fire from out there all night, and the rebound to Hillman. They cannot work the inside game with Lambiot now. He's playing with 4 fouls. Indiana can just set him up into that 5th foul.
A little man-to-man now by Northwestern.
And that's what will happen against it right there.
So Indiana goes back to that motion offense with the picks inside. Sloan did that one for Anderson and got him wide open.
And I just don't think Northwestern's quick enough to stay with Indiana and get around those picks or over them.
But Indiana can take too much time against the zone defense, so they've had to switch to the man-to-man.
That will be a foul against Indiana as Eric Anderson a little bit too aggressively coming inside to try to get that ball.
It just goes back to that 3rd foul that Lambiot got just before the first half. Let's look at some other scores. There's the battle at the top 5 as Oklahoma holds on to beat Missouri. Nothing else on the Big Ten scores. The other 2 Big Ten games tonight.
Remember, Missouri was playing without their coach tonight. On Sloan in the hospital, suffering from peptic ulcer. Missed shot. Reese knocked away from him. Back up, no good. Lambiot gets it back, goes to the glass and scores. And once again, Northwestern puts on the pressure. To Hillman. Over to Edwards. Goes right up, and there's the foul, and that's going to go against Walker Lambiot, and that, according to our unofficial statistics, is number 5.
And that is going to be it. As you see Lambiot leave, never got on track offensively. He ends up with 13 points. Fouls out with 4:25 left in the game.
He is a hard player. He's very tenacious. He has skills that are hard to defend, largely due to the fact that he's left-handed, and he uses that very, very well. He is not solely left-handed, as some players that we've seen. He can move the ball to the other side, but he likes to shoot with his left hand. Jay Edwards is at the line and hits the first of 2. Edwards averaging 22.5, and he is over his Big Ten average now at 23 and now 24. Indiana continues to extend its lead, 66-49. This is Schwabe on the top of the key. Peterson. Anderson's done a pretty good job against him here in the second half. Gross inside to Anderson and right back. That was nearly blocked by Edwards. And in the corner to Gross. Well, due to good Indiana defense, they're forced to work some time off the clock, and here comes Indiana. Edwards on the break. Oh, he misses the shot, and a foul over the back is going to be called on Hillman.
Tried to go for a stuff that time, but the defense kind of got in his way. He kind of double pumped it and then didn't get it to go.
Well, watch Hillman's effort. Now he sees Edwards on the wing. Here it is. There's the pump. He didn't have control of the ball.
Looked like it slipped a little out of his hand, and then Hillman draws the foul.
It's It's only the 14th foul against Indiana in the second half as Evan Peterson hits that soft hook from 7 feet. Oh, look at Meeks break it up. Oh, almost off the knee of Sloan. Over the wrist, but no call. Time working very much in favor of Indiana. 3 minutes, 22 seconds remaining. It is a 66-51 lead that the Hoosiers are enjoying at this time. To Edwards, baseline, drops it back to Anderson, misses, tipped up and in by Brian Sloan. Loose and picked up as Walters just lost the dribble. And Meeks right there to make the steal for Indiana. Not much of a steal, but that's the way it goes in the
ball. Just came off on a missed dribble, but Jamal right there to pick it up.
And they'll just keep sending Edwards down to the baseline. No good. Anderson is back up, and he's fouled, and that will go against Peterson, his third, and we'll send Eric Anderson to the line. So a matchup between two freshmen, and Peterson comes out on the short end there.
Edwards misses one here. Look at Anderson, really didn't have the good position. He jumped quicker, though, than Peterson and came up with a good rebound. It's a good showing for the freshman as he comes back to his hometown for the first time. That's got to be a unique feeling to have the people in Chicago root for the other team instead of him. But he played very well today as he hits his 21st point of the game.
And he's only 2 points off his season high. And now 1. And we have a timeout with 2 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network. The score here in Evanston, Indiana 70, the Wildcats 51.
It's a hurry up and wait world, and we hate to wait. Yet the latest trend in restaurants seems to be the line.
Oh, I'm gonna take it.
There are so many things that mess up the day. It seems like more restaurants would remember the rest part.
Yes, I'm gonna take it.
If you're fed up with long lines at the fast fooders or weary of bumper tag at the food bars or just won't stand for steak anymore,
Take it sitting down at Waffle House.
Right now, your local Chevy dealers are offering big savings on more than 1,000 new Chevy Corsicas and Berettas. Save up to $1,800 on Chevy Corsica. Save even more, up to $2,000 on Chevy Beretta. Get an IU or Purdue hat or tote bag free just for coming in for a test drive. Hurry, this offer and these savings won't last long. See Central Indiana's #1 selling cars at your local Chevy dealer. In Central Indiana, we drive Chevy.
2 minutes, 39 seconds before this game goes in the book. And at this stage of the game, it looks very much in favor of Indiana. 70-51, a 19-point lead. Hoosiers then would be 9-1 in conference play and starting out the second half of the conference season in pretty good style. This is Buford, Terry Buford from Indianapolis Cathedral. Prepped at Orchard Country Day School for a couple of years. And that shot is no good. The rebound belongs to Schwabe for 2. And we have an injured player. The whistle right at the shot. That was Jamal Meeks, caught it right in the face. Foul is against number 23. That would be Meeks, his first.
Hillman checks out of the game and gets a nice applause from the crowd. He only made 8 points, 2 of them on 3-point shots, though.
Jeff Oliphant replaces him.
I think his biggest factor today was trying to stop Lambiat. He kept him to 13 points, which is 5 under his average. You can see a smile on Joe's face.
Here's the big story right here. Brian Schwabe, who is 76% from the line, one of the better free throw shooters. As a matter of fact, third best on the team. And he hits the first free throw that they have made tonight. Meeks, over to Edwards. And again, the ball should be handled by these two most of the time. Oliphant comes out on the release. There's Edwards. Hoosiers just play the clock down. Anderson with 22 points. Meeks has had a good scoring night. He has 7. This has been the fellow, though. Jay Edwards with 24. Great shooting exhibition from 3-point range. The wheel. Little Shuffle out on top by Indiana. Drops it off on the inside, knocked away, and a little bit too tight to get anything done in there. Here's Buford. Steps up, shoots, and tipped up, no good. Rebound to Anderson, coming in late, but timing well for the ball.
If Indiana didn't get a good shot that time, but it's not really going to matter. Just a minute 25 left now.
And a foul.
16-point lead.
Buford steps in to stop the move of Jay Edwards, and that will send Jay back to the line. Mark Robinson checks in for Indiana at the 120 mark, and he will replace Brian Sloan, who's had his hands full tonight, but he's played a pretty good game. Now, Mike Delosio from Hillsborough, California, will be coming in to replace Edwards. And Delosio stretching out as Edwards waits the first for 1-1. Won't go. Anderson gets the ball, chases it down. I think Northwestern was just standing thinking it was a two-shot foul and made no effort to go for the ball. Edwards, underneath, and tried to throw it to Robinson, making a quick cut under there. The hand went right to the top of the head of Bobby Knight, but there he is sitting down. Jay Edwards, what a great night. Leaves the game with 24 points and 16 of those in the second half. Buford moves to the baseline, goes to the glass, no good. Delosio out to Oliphant. Here comes Indiana. To Anderson, misses the shot. Oh, good effort on a quick pass by Oliphant. Buford with the drive, and it won't go. Tipped up, no good. Tipped away into the hands of, who is that, Gross. Back inside and give it to Schwabe. 30 seconds.
Again, Jamal cuts right through the defense, as he did all this second half, to not let the press bother Indiana.
A lot of Illinois players here tonight on the Indiana team, giving the Wildcats a pretty good lesson on the court and giving the fans something to cheer about. Down it goes to Anderson. Won't get it. Goes back up again. Tipped again. Won't go. He's fouled. He'll go to the line. Listen to the hands.
He's just having trouble getting it over the front of that rim. And it's not a close enough game where it's going to matter down the stretch. But he really stayed after it well. He missed the stuff shot the series before this. Watch that. Look, just you can tell it's late in the game. He's just not getting it over the front of that rim. Gets the free throw to drop.
23 points. Best game of the year. There it is, 24. Where Eric Anderson shares the leading scoring honors with Jay Edwards. Buford lets it fly. No good. With 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Jamal Meeks lets it go. No basket, they say. Wasn't off his hand. And he's prone on the floor, but very happy in spite of not being credited with that last shot, as Indiana comes out with a big win, and a really big win tonight. The final score was 72-56, and a real turnaround from last year. And we said at the outlet of the show that there might be an avenge type attitude for Indiana, and Laz, you and I will come back and talk about that in just a minute. Final score 72-56. We'll be back to check on the scoring and review the game right after this.
All right, then call me when the dust settles. Right. Frank, haven't seen you in a while.
Bob, who do I talk to about those CDs you're advertising?
CDs? I thought you were sold on market timing.
Don't remind me.
At Bank One, we think the time is right for our federally insured savings plans and CDs to protect your money and earn high interest rates guaranteed.
Yeah, you're right. It feels great to have some money in the bank.
Bank One, 18,000 people who care.
This year, you'll find something new on the Chevy Cavalier. A 3-year, 50,000-mile warranty that protects it from bumper to bumper. It's the best way we've found to cover a car that looks this good.
When you think of all the fun it gives you, the new Chevy Cavalier just could be one of the best bargains you've ever driven.
Ooh, the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Well, last year, Laz, it was a 2-point loss, 66-64. Tonight, it's a 16-point victory, 72-56. Avenge has to be a little bit in the minds of these young men, especially those who were on last year's team, coming back here and recognizing that this Wildcat team is for real. They can get it done. They had seen them earlier this year, and Walker Lambiot is the key to the team. They had to do a job on him. They did it in the first half with only 6 points, 7 in the second half. He was 5 under his average.
But Indiana had a much younger team this year, too, Chuck. Well, of course, with Garrett and Smart last year, they'd been around a couple times, and Northwestern was able to beat them. So the crowd came here with a little anticipation that maybe we can pull this off again. And the game did stay close for Northwestern to be just 5 points down at the half. A good effort on their part. But Indiana did take better control of that ball. That three-point shot seemed to open up a lot more. And then Anderson, of course, went wild on the inside. So that's really made the difference. Better offense by Indiana in the second half.
Here's the key, too. Brian Schwabe, who's averaging 14 points and about 14 and a half points, was held to just 5 tonight. Not due to his ineffectiveness as much as it was to Indiana really playing him away from the ball most of the evening.
Right. Indiana did a nice job on Schwabe. Look at the leading scorers. Edwards and Anderson both tied with 24 points, and then came way down to Hillman with 8. For Northwestern, surprisingly, Peterson, he had 10 at halftime, finished with 18, well above his average. And then Lambiot, the offensive threat we talked about, limited just 13 points. Stiles had 9. Gross never came off the bench to hit that three-point shot. And this is a game, again, where Indiana's defense really contained Northwestern. The defense did what it was supposed to do. It just waited for the offense to catch hold, which it finally did in the second half.
Well, now Indiana has to go back home. They have Friday and Saturday, tomorrow and Saturday, to prepare for a big Sunday game. Is this an advantage at this stage? Being a Sunday game, normally you get one-day preparation. After a game like this, would you want to come back with one-day rest to play Purdue?
No, I think you would. The two-game rest would be better. I saw a couple of kids getting tired. Jamal at the end of the ball game getting a little weary. They get an extra day to watch the Purdue film. Indiana, of course, won up there this year by a point. They'll be able to study that film and find out what they need to do to hold Purdue. Indiana's got a unique situation now, 9-1. As I mentioned, 4 of the teams tied for second are playing today against each other. So 2 of those teams are going to have 4 losses. Indiana's going to be 3 up in the loss column. So things going well right now for Indiana, but they still take one game at a time.
Joe Hillman with only 8 points tonight, but you mentioned when he went out of the game, his role was really more for court play tonight and defensive attitude against the strengths. Lambiot, for instance, and doing such an excellent job. You need help. Indiana's game is built around the help, but you have to have someone front there to take away that initial step on a man that moves as quickly as Lambiot. If Indiana has to play with a 3-guard offense, which they do, somebody has to pick up the strong man, and tonight it was Hillman.
Right, one of the guards has to guard a forward, and I mentioned about a 3 or 4 height advantage for Lambiot. Left-handed player, knows how to score, and Hillman did a nice job. You saw a lot of the clips we had. He was trying to prevent the ball from coming in. We mentioned a player like Lambiot, when he gets the ball inside, it's too late to guard him. So Hillman used the outside to try to stop him and did a nice job. Offensively, he doesn't have to score a lot, but he really has to be some glue, set guys up, make some good passes on that offense, and that's what he did today. So it won't show in his 8 points, but in assists and floor leadership, he did the job today.
Okay, we'll take a break and be back in just a minute. You're watching the Indiana University Basketball Network. Tonight, the Hoosiers have defeated Northwestern 72-56.
For your farm, your family, your piece of America, AgriCenter means more.
Cyanabid AgriCenter dealers are working with farmers in the area, helping them meet conservation compliance requirements, doing their part to protect valuable farmland from erosion.
AgriCenter means more.
Ask about conservation compliance at your AgriCenter dealer.
What do the big 3 coaches pick for refreshment?
Coca-Cola Classic.
Sprite.
Diet Coke.
Pick any of the 3 when you enter the Coca-Cola Final Four contest for a fantastic American Airlines trip to the NCAA playoffs in Seattle.
Buy Sprite in a 12-pack can. Send in the wrapper handle with my name on it and your entry form. You could win.
Or Diet Coke with my name on it.
No, Coca-Cola Classic with my name on it.
Enter the Coca-Cola Final Four contest today.
Final score once again 72-56, and sitting down next to us is one of the great guards on that championship team back in 1976. I remember great years with Jim Wisman down there on the court at IU. Jimmy, it's great to see you again.
Thank you. The adjectives always get better the longer you're out. You know, now it's great.
No, that's not true. Well, you know, you have the honor of wearing a championship ring, and I know you can see things, see similarities, see things that are lacking in teams, but I think you, as Laz and I have discussed many times, have to concur that this team is really playing with about 100% of its effort all the time.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch for me. You know, I've never seen an Indiana team with as much guard play as they've had out there. And it's very interesting. You know, it's a very different team than I've ever seen before.
Were you ever caught up in a three-guard situation down at IU by intentions, by design like this?
Oh, yes, about the last 3 minutes of the games once in a while.
But normally Indiana had enough size underneath and a good post that they could play that kind of a game.
Yes, yeah. At that point in time, you know, we really relied on the post game, and you know, the guard play came at spurts, but it was basically trying to get the ball inside a lot more.
Well, tell us a little bit about you. What are you doing?
I'm working in advertising for an advertising agency up here called Leo Burnett. And I've been with it about 7 years, and it's going very well.
Well, you're looking very well too, Golly. I tell you, you got all the sharp threads.
I had to work today, you know. We work on Thursdays up here.
Do you get a chance to follow the Hoosiers at all? Do you see the line scores up here? The papers give the line scores much?
Oh yes, yeah. And you know, with cable now, I think I've seen 3 or 4 games, and I usually catch them whenever they're here at Northwestern. Try to get down a couple of times if I can during the year.
Impressions of the Chicago freshman, Eric Anderson?
Oh, he's very, you know, Steve Offeld and I were talking. I was up here with him. For a freshman, he already knows the subtleties of the system that usually aren't picked up till a sophomore or junior. And, you know, how to get through screens and those type of things. He's going to be a good one.
Tell me a little bit about the three-point shooting show that Jay Edwards put on for you tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Remind you of somebody you know?
Yeah. Well, who could that be? Laz here, maybe.
No, he's a very gifted young man from out there. I think one of the things that we've enjoyed so much about him is that his work ethic is picking up more and more and more. He's working harder to get himself open. He's working harder to help other players, too.
Yes, I thought so. I mean, if you stay around Indiana long enough, you're going to be working pretty hard.
You know that for a fact, don't you?
That's right.
Jimmy, it's just great to see you again. I'm very tickled. We follow your progresses all the time, keep abreast of you, and even up at the station we hear about you occasionally. And I know Leo Burnett's been very kind to you. You were doing an excellent job with them. The best of fortunes to you in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great company.
Okay, thank you very much. Jim Wisman. Okay, we'll continue with our postgame after we hear from our local stations. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
The Clydesdales, the symbol of Budweiser quality, of Beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
Right now, your local Chevy dealers are offering big savings on brand new Chevy S10 in full-size pickups. Choose 4.9% financing or cash back and option discounts that'll save you up to $1,950 on Chevy S10 pickup. Save even more, up to $2,400 on Chevy full-size pickup. Get an IU or Purdue hat or tote bag free just for coming in for a test drive. Hurry, these savings won't last long. See the brand new Chevy S10 in full-size pickups at your local Chevy dealer.
The Corlick sisters on Denny's specials.
Tonight we're having the steak and shrimp and shrimp and shrimp and shrimp and shrimp and shrimp special.
You said shrimp 6 times.
I'm getting 6 big shrimp.
You don't have to ask for each one separately.
I asked for the steak separately.
You only get 1 steak.
Well, how many steaks do you want for such a low price?
1 steak and 6 shrimp.
Then get the steak and shrimp special. It's a great deal at Lenny's.
Denny's.
Denny's.
Try our delicious steak and shrimp special for just $6.99, only at Denny's.
These babies were born at the St. Vincent Family Life Center. They are all healthy and strong. Some of them were born that way, but some of them weren't. Some needed special care. Fortunately, the Family Life Center's Special Care Nursery, among the finest in the country, specializes in treating critically ill newborns. Some of these babies were born with serious problems, but we've forgotten which ones. St. Vincent Family Life Center, where you are always treated with special care.
Well, last year's 66-64 loss has been turned around at 72-56 Indiana tonight. The last time, or one of the last times that we were up here was 1982. It was a loss that year, too, but the weather conditions were much worse than we have tonight. It's cold up here tonight. It's around 0, but it was about 35 below last time. So at least we have a little better and a little bit more pleasant condition there, too.
I think it's going to be interesting on Sunday, then, with Purdue coming in. Indiana, a home game. They've already beaten Purdue at West Lafayette. We know that's tough to do. But it's always the big battle, the Purdue-Indiana game, and Purdue's got the same game film that Indiana has, so they're going to try to do some things to correct themselves in the second game. But interesting article in the paper today talked about what Indiana had to go record-wise in the second half of the season. I don't think the team really looks at it that way. They don't say, we need to be 10-0 or 9-0 or 8-1, whatever it might be. They just look at each game, and then now Northwestern's done. They're going on to Purdue. They're looking at a Purdue game, and then they'll look at the standings once the paper comes out after that. You really can't look at it from a half a season. Just because it's the second half of the Big Ten season doesn't mean anything to the team.
You've pointed that out to me before, that even as a player, it's not difficult for you to keep your mind on your next game.
Exactly, because what the coaching staff will do is prepare you just for that game. All they talked about this week was Northwestern. That's why it's so important to have that extra day before Purdue, because it's 2 days to go over the Purdue stuff and then be able to play them on Sunday, and then it'll be a whole week off until they play Michigan again next Sunday.
Well, this Northwestern team is lacking maybe only in some experience and some patience in the backcourt. They're 8-12 now, 1-9 in conference play. Indiana's record goes to 19-5, 1 game away from another 20-game winning season for the big coach, who is now 4-0-4 and 134 in Big Ten play and 506 career victories.
It's been a completely different team than we saw play Syracuse, North Carolina early on. The kids have really come together. That 3-guard lineup has worked, and obviously coach is very proud of what the team's done today.
You think they have a super sub out there?
Well, I don't know. Jamal did a nice job today. I like the way he really went in, came right through that press. He plays fast, but he played under control a lot better today. That's why he got a lot of lineup time. Let's hope Lyndon Jones is okay Sunday. A little strep throat today, so he didn't see a lot of action.
Well, let's go have some hamburger and pickles, okay? We'll get a bite to eat. We'll see you folks next week, and we want to tell you once again that the big game is this coming Sunday, Indiana versus Purdue. Final score tonight, the Hoosiers 72, Northwestern 56. So long, everybody.
University basketball. Brought to you in part by your Central Indiana Chevy dealers. In Central Indiana, we drive Chevy. By Bank One, we're 18,000 people who care. By Counter, more performance, more consistency. Counter gives you more. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Indiana University basketball has also been brought to you in part by Hook's Dependable Drugstores.
Indiana uses a strong second half to turn back the Wildcats. They remain 2 games up in the Big Ten standings. The post-game show brought to you by Union Federal is coming up next.
The Indiana University post-game show is brought to you by Union Federal Savings Bank. All your bank should be.
16-point victory for the Hoosiers. Let's take you back now to Northwestern. Standing by with Chuck Marlowe is assistant coach Dan Dockich.
Dan, the plane trip back tonight is going to be a little more pleasant than last year.
Much more pleasant. This is always a tough place to play, and for the first, I'd say 30 minutes of the game, it was
again, it was a tough place, but then Jay knocked in some three-pointers and got us going, and that was a big key. So, yeah, we're happy.
You had a 10-point lead with 2 minutes left in the first half, and I'd commented to Laz at the time that this is the stage of the game when if Indiana can really maintain control right here, you're going to be pretty good. You sat Anderson down for a little bit, and bingo, they get right back in the game, outscore you 6-1.
Yeah, they did. We made a couple really dumb plays. We let Don Polite, who's a left-handed kid, we let him drive left into the lane and get a three-point play. Whenever you're playing against a left-handed player, you always want to make him go right. Whenever you're playing against a right-handed player, you want to make him go left. But we let him come left into the lane, and he was able to get up and get over us for a three-point play, and that really hurt us. But I thought, you know, like you said, that was a big point in the ballgame. If we could have taken it on from there, maybe it would have been an easier time from the beginning of the second half.
Lambiot was not a factor. He picks his third foul up with still several minutes remaining in the first half, and Bill Foster had to put him down on the bench. He is a ball player I know you worked all week against because they want the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Well, he's an outstanding scorer, and they get him the ball in a variety of ways. They give him the ball off back cuts. They let him go one-on-one with it. He rebounds. So having him out of the game was a big bonus for us. You know, when he was in the game, I thought Joey Hillman did an outstanding job of battling him in the post, of beating him to spots, and we got good help also. So I thought that Lambiot was pretty much taken out of the game, which was a big key for us.
48 points, 24 each out of Anderson and Edwards tonight.
Yeah, that was outstanding. You know, Jay broke the game up with his three-point shooting. They were in the zone, and Jamal Meeks came in and did a really good job of distributing the basketball. He took it one way and came back to Jay the other way, and Jay got his feet set and just knocked him in. And you know, I'd like to talk a little bit about Jamal because our team was kind of sluggish and kind of slow, and Jamal did an outstanding job of coming in the game and picking the tempo, both offensively and defensively, and I think the other guys played off of Jamal.
Linden came into the game. He had a couple of strikes against him anyway. He's had a fever all day and been suffering with that sore throat, strep throat. And I know that he was just tentative. You didn't really want to start him, but you had to.
Well, we had to because of how things have been going for us. And then Linden didn't practice yesterday. And I think I don't think he's feeling nearly as well as what he's saying. And he tried to give it his best effort, but he was a little bit tentative and he was a little bit slow.
Have you been lucky so far with this bug?
Yeah, with the flu going around, we've been good. Tim Garland, Dr. Bomba have been in. They're giving him flu pills, giving him shots. And you know, fortunately, knock on wood, I should knock on my own head, but knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky so far.
That's Purdue Sunday.
Yeah, it is. That's going to be very, very, very difficult. We beat them at Purdue. They've got a week to prepare, or you know, since Monday to prepare for us, and it's going to be a tough ball game. You know they're going to come in. They're so strong inside. We're going to have to get our inside people geared to play against their inside people, and we're going to have good movement because they play outstanding defense.
Have a safe trip back and a good game Sunday.
No, you've got Miss Indiana. How come I don't get the interview? I get to interview Dean Garrett, but I don't get to interview the pretty girl.
That's all right. You know, you had the pleasure of introducing him.
I know, but Dean wasn't as fun as what interviewing Miss Indiana would be.
Go back and get on the plane. I won't tell Coach, okay? Thanks very much, Dan. This is Joni McMecken. Now, we do have a fan up here. We have a very big fan because this is Miss Indiana. And, Joni, you're from Liberty. You are a student here at Northwestern. You had to be cheering for Indiana a little bit, huh?
I was cheering for both teams. This is my night where I had to win. I couldn't lose either way.
Either way at all.
Either way. No, I always love to see Northwestern win since I've been here 4 years. But if we have to lose, I think Indiana is the team to lose to.
Joni, what's your major up here?
I have a major in voice performance and music management.
Well, you probably picked the best school in the nation to do that.
Well, I'm very proud to be here.
Well, I know. You have a good team. It's a team that's going to have to work to come along a little bit, but they met a Tiger in Jay Edwards tonight.
I think they certainly did, but we're really proud of Coach Foster. I think he's worked hard the past 3 years that he's been here.
Well, it's nice to see you. Last time you and I crossed paths was down in Martinsville, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Well, you're not any less beautiful, even more so today, and we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thanks for being with us. Okay, fellas, eat your heart out. She's a gorgeous young lady.
You just have to tune in because you never know who we're going to have on the post-game show. We'll take a break and recompose ourselves here and come back with more. Stay with us.
Save money. Lots of it. Come to Chi-Chi's Cancun Dinner Special. For $6.95, you get 2 big seafood enchiladas stuffed with a blend of snow crab, bay shrimp, and whitefish. You even get Chi-Chi's own incredible Mexican fried ice cream. Chi-Chi's Cancun Dinner Special. A great way to save a few $100.
Chi-Chi's, the celebration of food.
Have
I got a deal for you. Buy a sleek new Cutlass Supreme by February 28th and get $500 back from old. Plus a year's supply of Amoco gasoline at no extra charge. That's a deal even my dad couldn't pass up.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
I'll trade you the Cutlass Supreme, the cash, and all that gasoline for what's behind door number 1.
No deal, Dad.
This is the new generation of Olds.
Amoco gasoline for a year plus cash back. See your Hoosier Olds family now.
It's Highland Superstore's employees only sale, where you can get special discounts on audio, video, and appliances if you're a Highland employee. Or a friend of a Highland employee. Okay, acquaintance of an employee, but that's it.
Right now, get this Sanyo compact microwave oven for just $98.
All right, resident of the U.S., but not Canada. Yeah, okay, Canada too.
Highland's employees only sale, Thursday and Friday.
All right, Saturday too.
This Valentine's Day, greet your sweetheart with a delicious frozen cake from Dairy Queen. It's a nice thought and another sweet way to say, I love you. Nobody makes a frozen birthday cake like Dairy Queen. You can even have one specially made. Dairy Queen frozen birthday cakes. We make birthdays happier.
We treat you right.
Okay, so I paid a little more to stay in this motel. But hey, it's got this lovely pool.
Next time, hit the roof. Red Roof Inns.
So this time, Ted Kitchell gets to follow Miss Indiana.
What can I say? Oh, what, did they say we're going back? Does Chuck have a janitor that he wants to interview before? Oh, no, okay.
Tell us how cold the locker room is up there on these cold nights.
It can be very cold, of course. When we used to play there, they've remodeled the facility since we played there. But, Chuck spoke of 1982. It was very cold. It was about 30 degrees in the locker room. The wind chill factor at the airport was 69 below, I remember. So, and then we lost. The
plane didn't work.
And we lost by 16, so it was a very, very cold night.
Let's take a look now at some other action.
Don't eat it.
Well, I think Dad should be allowed to eat whatever he wants to.
The air in my mouth tastes better than
Weeknights at 6:30 after Eyewitness News.
Escape to the country. Take advantage of low farm prices and adopt a country hideaway. Key Associates is offering 86 acres of farmland in Warwick County near Tennyson. With 23 tillable acres, a homestead with city water, and 63 acres of gently rolling woodland, you won't want to miss this exceptional opportunity. If you've been looking for a country haven, we found it for you. Only half an hour from Evansville, you'll find this property convenient yet secluded and very peaceful. The property fronts Highway 161, and that means highway access and no long gravel roads to travel. Priced in the low 50s, this acreage can be used for recreational purposes or simply as a nature retreat. To get a first-hand look at this unique property, contact Linda Brown at Key Associates of Santa Claus at 812-937-4486 or 812-544-2103. This lovely country hideaway is located on Highway 161, about 1 mile